We have this photo hanging on our dining room wall. It's from a place I visited back in 2022, around the time Lindsay and I had just met. At times when we were sitting at the table together eating dinner, I would look at the picture and say to Lindsay, I really want to take you there one day. Fast forward a couple years, and we got married. Our dream after we get married is to travel. And like the smell of pine, the photo on the wall calls us to be out west. Our goal is simple: reach the location hanging in our dining room. We started by making a list of places we both wanted to see and places I wanted her to experience for the first time. We cross-examined our list and built a route that made the most sense for the time that we had. Places like Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone, the Owahis, and the Salt Flats. The vehicle that'll be our home for the next 2 weeks is our 2005 Lexus GX47, a rebranded Land Cruiser. We've owned it for 3 years, slowly upgrading and modifying it for a trip like this. And even with 390,000 miles on the odometer at the time of recording, we're confident it can get us from point A to point B reliably. Or so we hope. Anyway, with a full tank of gas and scooters in the cup holders,
Thank you so much, guys.
we're officially on our way, excited, hopeful, and ready for whatever comes next. Our first destination in the Black Hills of South Dakota greeted us with a hailstorm. A slight change from the 80-degree weather we've been enjoying most of the drive. But once the rain let up, we were still pumped to finally see the monument. We found an off-grid campsite nearby, and since this was our first night camping, setup took a little longer than planned. The wet, overgrown grass definitely didn't help. Not long after we finished setting up, it started raining again. Perfect timing. Lucky for us, we could prep dinner in the annex. Tonight's meal is chopped steak and vegetables. All cooked on our Blackstone, this kitchen setup is already earning its keep. We are super excited for the upcoming meals we have planned for this trip. We woke up to a crisp, sunny morning. Not a breath of wind. Not being in a rush, we stayed in bed a little longer, listening to the birds chirping and the dew dripping off the tent, quiet and peaceful. We won't get many slow mornings like this on the trip, but still eager to reach the next campsite, we packed up and hit the road. Today's route will take us about 7 hours, a long stretch, but somehow one of the shorter drives for the entire trip. There weren't any planned stops, and honestly, not much to look at. But even then, it's kind of mind-blowing to see how empty so much of the countryside really is. Eventually, the rolling plains faded into forested mountains. And with every mile, we grew more excited knowing camp was getting closer.
Welcome to the mountains. Welcome to the mountains. Welcome to the mountains.
Woodbine Campground sits beside the fast-moving Stillwater River, right at the edge of the Absaroka Beartooth Wilderness, just northeast of Yellowstone National Park. The campground offers all the basic amenities you'd expect for camping, minus the service and Wi-Fi. Honestly, not having service makes it a great excuse to put the phone down for a while. Our site is tucked next to a small fork of the Stillwater River. While it's not exactly ideal for swimming, after a full day of driving, we still wanted to attempt a cold plunge. Other than the fact that we were next to the water, the trees had to be my favorite part of the campsite. Dinner tonight is sheet pan sausage and veggies mixed with potatoes, one of my favorites. Our hot tap water heater, which we use for showers, also doubles as a dishwashing station. With limited counter space, we've learned it's best to clean as we cook. Otherwise, things get a bit cluttered. And for anyone wondering, between drinks and condiments, we usually have enough fridge space for about 2 days worth of meals. We'd rather eat well at camp and resupply as we go, since we're almost always driving past a grocery store in between destinations. The next morning, we headed out for a short hike. The campground caretaker told us there was one thing we had to see, the new hiking bridge. Back in 2022, devastating floods swept through northern Yellowstone, caused by intense rainfall and rapid snowmelt. It was considered a rare 500-year flood event. Large portions of this trail, including the bridge, were destroyed in the flooding. Now just 3 years later, the bridge has finally been rebuilt, and it reopened just 2 days before we arrived. Walking across it felt pretty special. Today's drive took us over Beartooth Pass. Construction on the pass began in 1931 and it was completed in 1936 under the National Park Approaches Act. The goal was to support mining communities like Red Lodge and Cook City, while also boosting tourism for surrounding towns. Before the pass existed, mine owners had to haul ore along a 60-mile route through Yellowstone just to reach the railroad in Gardner. The heavy traffic damaged roads and created serious bottlenecks during the peak tourism season. Typically open from late May through October, Beartooth Pass offers some of the most stunning views in the region and serves as a dramatic gateway into Yellowstone National Park. With elevations nearing 11,000 feet, weather here changes fast, and closures, even in midsummer, aren't uncommon. Just a couple days after we drove it, the pass closed up due to snow. At this point, we're realizing just how lucky our timing has been. Today happened to be Juneteenth. Unbeknownst to us, that meant we can get into Yellowstone for free. Our hope was to snag a first-come first-served campsite inside the park, with West Yellowstone as our backup plan. Unfortunately, everything was full. So we headed out of the park to find a place to spend the night, but just as we were leaving, we hit our first real hiccup.
No power steering.
After the vehicle stalled, I assumed the battery had died. I hooked up the jump pack and got it running again. But now, I had to figure out why it happened. Could it be the alternator? Maybe a fuse? Luckily, we were still in town, so I felt okay driving it around. That confidence didn't last long.
We're dead.
It happened again. This time halfway through a busy intersection. And this time, it wouldn't start. Perfect. A few very kind strangers helped push us into a Napa Auto Parts store that just so happened to be across the street from where we died. Not ideal, but also kind of ideal. Unfortunately, the dash cam is the only footage we had from the whole ordeal. After diagnosing the issue at Napa, it turned out to be an emission sensor code. The fix for now was simple. Clear the code, keep it going. It won't harm the vehicle for the rest of the trip, and I'll make the proper fix on it when we get home. So with that problem handled, we move on to the next one. Where are we going to sleep tonight? We checked with several local campgrounds and made a few calls, only to find out that everything was completely booked. Thankfully, West Yellowstone has a big advantage. Many of the snowmobile trails we've ridden on in the past double as dispersed camping routes in the summer. As long as we stayed within 300 feet of the trail, we were good. So we found a spot and called it home for the night and decided to slow things down a bit. That's the reason why there isn't much footage from this evening, ensuring that we were rested up before the next big leg on the trip.
Wherever you're going, wherever you've been, I'll follow you until the end. Follow you.